What's up, guys? We're here with a little EPL content as the English Premier League starts up here today. I'm joined by my friend Leonardo. Going to talk through this weekend's games. Leo, excited to get going?
I'm very excited. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. So I am going to share my screen. And we're going to look through each game, just give a quick little rundown on each and see what our thoughts are. So first things first, we open up today's game with Brentford, or today's schedule with Brentford versus Arsenal. Brentford just coming up from the championship. They won the playoffs to get here. I'm pretty sure this is their first time. I know it's the first time that they're in the Premier League, but I'm pretty sure it's one of their first times that they're even in the first division. And then Arsenal is Arsenal. I mean, they've won the third most titles behind Man United and Liverpool. I mean, they're steeped in history. You could logically say that this might be the biggest game in Brentford's history. I mean, which is kind of nuts to think that the first game of the EPL season is the biggest game in their history. But home game, Arsenal coming to the community stadium. I don't know what their expectations are. This season may be a total free hit for them altogether. And I really think that the first game is a free hit. They have nothing they could lose. They have nothing they could lose. So if it goes sideways, it goes sideways. Leo, your thoughts?
I agree. I mean, Brentford's not a team that I know much of. They're coming down from the lower leagues. They're coming with in full steam. You know, that's what could be dangerous about them, is that they have momentum, right? And they're happy, and they probably have just like a good vibe all around. Arsenal, he's been lacking lately. They have some great players. They just can't get it in together. Lacazette, Xhaka, I'm going to try and look out for them. I'm not going to miss it, but I'm kind of disappointed that this is the first EPL game of the season because it's a Friday.
I don't know if you saw the news this morning, not to cut you off, but I don't know if you saw the news this morning. Lacazette and Aubameyang aren't traveling for this game. They're not. No. So right off the bat, Arsenal, who needs to start off their season hot without what could be their two best players.
Oh, wow. Well, that might be something right there then. Something to look out for.
Okay. Well, what's your prediction on this game? What are we thinking?
Man, I think it's going to be a boring game. I think Xhaka might put one in the net. You said Xhaka is good, right? It's just Lacazette.
He's good. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think Arsenal's going to win it. Brentford's going to come out hard the first 10 minutes, but they're going to tire out because Arsenal's Arsenal. So yeah, Arsenal win.
I have much to the same logic you're going with. I have a 2-0 Arsenal win, but Brentford shows up for this game. Of course, this is going to be huge for them. Fans in the stands, up from the championship. This is their Super Bowl. I mean, they may have some nice games throughout the season, but nothing is bigger than Arsenal coming to the stadium, first time up in the Premier League. This is it for them. So these first 25 minutes, they're going to go hard after it. And I think they're going to have a couple times where they put some good 1-2s together. They get in on net. Maybe they do get that goal. Maybe they do, but I don't think they will. And then in the end, Arsenal just are too talented. So yeah, I see 2-0 Arsenal. So then tomorrow morning, very tasty fixture. We got Man U against Leeds. This game is being played at Old Trafford. So I don't know if you know the whole background here, but these two teams hate each other. I mean, it's Man U. Everybody hates Man U, but Leeds has a particular disdain for them. And Leeds were back up last year. They had piss and vinegar. They were excited. We're going to go to Man U. We're going to do something. And they lost 6-2.
Oh, yeah. Even if I mean, I didn't know that fact that they hated each other, but any one of these teams, is middle of the table teams, they're fun to watch against the top of the table teams. They give them their money at least for the first half. And yeah, I also feel like it's going to be a good one. Manchester United is probably going to win it. If not, then it's probably going to be a 1-1 tie. I'll go with a 1-1 tie for this one.
I think, and I need to look at the rest of the schedule, and we're going to go through each of the games. This might be the highest scoring game of the weekend.
Whoa.
I could see it 3-2 either way. I'm going to have to go with United because it's a home game. But this game, I think, and again, it's the first game of the season. So me saying, oh, this game will set the tempo for the whole season is a little reactionary, but I do think it's going to set a good tempo because Leeds is coming out saying we can beat Man U, which is a lot of talk for a team. But the last time they played at Old Trafford, they lost 6-2. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's a lot of talk. But United need this. United need this. They spent for Sancho. They don't have Varane in yet, I believe, but they spent for Sancho. They finished second in the table last year. You can't have a home game against, and I know Leeds is a good team. Leeds is a middle of the table team. And like you said, these middle table teams play hard or harder against the top table teams, but Leeds has only been in the league for 1 year. You can't lose this game. You can't. And even if they do win 3-2, like I projected, a lot of people will say, oh, well, what's wrong with United? They still played a tight game with Leeds. And it might even look like they took a step back because last year they hammered them. So I don't want to be reactionary, but this game could just say a lot about where these teams are positioned. Still have United winning, but I see it as a high-scoring game. Next game, I really like this game. I know you're a big Leicester person. Anyone that watched our EPL review, you have Leicester as a top 4 team. You have Chelsea outside of the top 4, which is weird because there's a lot of pundits that have Chelsea winning the league, but we're not here to talk about this. You made that pick before Lukaku came in. It is what it is. But Leicester are a good team. And I think Wolves have a lot of things going. I don't know why I'm hearing a lot of slander on them getting Trincao. And, we don't know how Jimenez will bet in. I mean, I think Wolves are going to be good. I mean, Bruno Lage, I know he's not Nuno Espirito Santo, but he's still a good coach. And Wolves were a solid mid-table team when they had something offensively, and now they get Jimenez back. They have Trincao coming in. This is going to be a really good game. And anyone who thinks that Leicester is just going to walk all over Wolves, quite frankly, doesn't know what they're talking about. Your thoughts?
I think Leicester is going to walk all over the Wolves. I think they have the team to do it. These guys in the front, Jamie Vardy, Madison, I think those motherfuckers are killers. And Jamie Vardy's learning to play off the ball. For the longest time, he was the star of the show. They were relying on him to do all these runs on a counterattack. And over the years, I think he's caught on to what the defenders or how the defenders are defending him. And now he's giving a lot of his teammates the space that they need in order to fool the defense into going after him, and his people can go in and finish some plays. Wolves, I think they're a great team, but I also think they're a first half team. I think they're a team that goes hard in the first half. They do great. They hold their own against some of these top teams, but in the last 15, 20 minutes, maybe half of this second half, they just kind of give out. And it's nothing to be ashamed about because that's what a lot of teams do. But that's why some of these teams are the best in the world, because they don't tire out after the full 90 minutes or more. So Yeah, Leicester's going to walk all over the Wolves. That's my final answer.
Well, give a score.
Score, I would say, oof. My mind automatically went to 2-2, but I want Leicester to win it, so it's going to be probably 2-0. But I believe in Wolves. Wolves coming up and tying the game. That's how good I think they are. But Leicester 2-0 just because they have the forwards.
I have a 1-1 game. I have a 1-1 game. I like Leicester. I do. Let me make sure that. Okay. Well, the game's at the KP. You know what? It's at Leicester. Maybe go 2-1 Leicester. If it was at Molineux, then I might have looked at 1-1. I'll give it 2-1 Leicester, but it's going to be tight. I think Leicester, they're going to make a difference in the midfield. You mentioned Madison. They have Ndidi, who I really like. Yuri Tielemans is a baller. I don't know what they're going to do up front. I like what you said about Vardy and the way he plays. If they go with 2 forwards, with Vardy and Daka, I don't know if they're going to start Pats and Daka right now, but if they do something where Vardy plays off and then they just have Daka as the guy, really as the focal point striker, that may make a difference. I just think a lot of people are sleeping on Wolves. Even if they don't win this game, even if they don't get a point out of this game, people are going to come away and they're going to say, Wolves are better than they played last year, and they're going to do damage this year. I really, really rate them. I think they're going to finish in the top half. And I just don't think that they're as bad as they were last year. And I don't think that that's an indictment on how Leicester is going to play. I just think people are going to come away and say, wow, Wolves can play. So that's.
I think they've been saying that ever since last year, though. Ever since Pookie caught everybody's attention.
But wrong Pookie, wrong team. We'll get to Pookie. You're thinking of the wrong team. This game, we got Chelsea, Crystal Palace, and it's at Stamford Bridge. So Chelsea has a home game. I like Crystal Palace. I think they're going to be a lot better than last year, but they have a lot of pieces coming in. They have a new manager, and Chelsea are the champions of Europe. I don't know if we want to spend a lot of time on this, but I think that this is going to be a very straightforward game. I could see this as the beatdown of the weekend. I could see, even if it's only 2-0 Chelsea, I could see like it's a 2-0 game that people are going to come away and say, Chelsea should have scored 6. I just think Chelsea are going to pull their pants down. I mean, I don't have a lot more to say on it. I don't think that that's going to be that Palace are that bad. I just think that Chelsea are a completely different level. I think Palace will look better throughout the season, but this just isn't the game for them to start the season with.
Yeah, I agree. I can't say Crystal Palace is the best team ever. They have a really fun offensive line to watch. Wilfred Zaha, Eze Benteke, all these dudes are very, very skilled up front. They're fast. They can move. The defense isn't terrible, but they just never win. You know, but they do miss a lot of opportunities because they have those good forwards up top. They just may not. I guess I can't call them good forwards because they don't finish. You know, that's the problem. And Chelsea coming in with Lukaku. Lukaku's gonna play. Do you know that?
I don't. Well, 2 things. Number one, Eze's out. Eze's out for a couple months, so that kind of poo-poos on them. They do have young players coming in, but he's out. And Lukaku, I don't know if he's going to play. Quite frankly, I don't think it matters. I mean,
nope.
It'd
be fun to watch him play.
I think that this might be the kind of game, and I don't want this to seem like I'm.
Yes, you are.
I'm being critical of Crystal Palace, but if Lukaku plays in this game it might be like it's a practice. Like it might be the point where it's the 60th minute, it's 2-0, and Tuchel brings on Lukaku just for 30 minutes of practice.
Yeah, I like that.
Which I know is extremely disrespectful to Crystal Palace, but I think it's just going to be a game where Chelsea controls it so much, where Tuchel just says, you know what, we'll give you a 30-minute run out just for kicks and giggles. It doesn't really matter. We have dominated this entire game. Just get 30 minutes. It's like a practice for you. But on the other hand, I don't even know if he'd be registered yet. So there's a lot of other stuff going on.
It's a game that Christian Pulisic's going to start. Let's just leave it at that.
I feel like that's slanderous towards a top 10 team in the world, but that's a whole different conversation. Anyway, then we have Watford, Aston Villa, which is at Watford. Watford coming back up from the championship. I mean, they haven't made a lot of signings. They got up automatically last year. I believe they finished second in the championship, so they were good in the championship. But I just think they're, and I think it might even be unfair to say they're a championship level team because they were in the Premier League for so long. But that being said, this might be another one like Chelsea, Crystal Palace, where the difference in talent is just so immense. And I know a lot of people can lazily say, oh, Villa lost Grealish, so they must suck now. Yeah, they lost Grealish, but they replaced him with Leon Bailey, Danny Ings. They still have a strong core. They're still a good team. I mean, they lost Jack Grealish, but I think they might actually be better. I don't think that this will be a blowout. Fans in the stands. It's a home game for Watford. They're back in the Premier League. They're going to play well. But I don't see them scoring. I, of course, do see Villa scoring. And that looks like a 2-0 game for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go and disagree with you just because I like watching a couple of players in Watford, Danny Rose and Troy Deeney. They're fun to watch. I'm going to root with them. At the end of the day, it's a boring game for me. I don't know if I'm going to watch them or not, just because they're just teams that I don't care much about. Aston Villa sometimes will prove a thing or two here, but it's just like Watford. I put them in the same category. I don't really trust this game to be that fun to watch. 0-0.
I do not want to step on my own team here, and it breaks my heart to say. But remember, and I might have to get emotional and shed a tear here. Villa scored 7 goals on the champions of England last year. I mean, they're a good team.
I just throw it in there. They said sometimes they'll prove something here and there, but will they prove something long term for the full, like impactful for the full season?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? I don't think
so you and this is called transition. You said your most boring game of the weekend might be Watford Villa. This, in my opinion, is the most boring game of the weekend. Everton Southampton. I think Southampton are not good, but these are the types of games where they're going to come into it and they're going to say, we need to stay alive. We're going on the road. We're going to Liverpool to play Everton. We're playing a team with a new manager anyway. So what I'm going to do if I'm Raf Hasenhüttl is I'm going to put a put a brick wall in front of my net. And I'm not letting Everton make a move. And Rafa Benitez is a defensive-minded coach anyway. So this, to me, is a nothing game. Nothing. Nobody scored in this game, in my opinion.
Disagree with everything said there. I think Southampton is one of those first half teams that do really, really well in the first half. Last year they came out strong. They were doing a little bit of tiki-taka, which I kind of liked. But they never finished. They don't have anybody strong up front. Theo Walcott doesn't cut it. He hasn't cut it. If they don't have Vestergaard, then they're probably going to allow a couple of goals in. Richarlison is probably going to cut through the middle, and so is Calvert-Lewin if he plays. It's going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be a 2-0 Everton. Everton plays. James hopefully is healthy enough to play, and he's going to tear up that whole sucky ass Southampton midfield. But not to say that, Southampton is pretty fun to watch. A lot more fun than the previous game that we just talked about. I think this is going to be an okay game.
Okay. Well, I mean, you alluded to Southampton having trouble scoring, and they lost Danny Ings. So they were bad at scoring. They weren't winning games, and they lost the guy that scores 20 goals a season. The only reason that I see it as a 0-0 game is Southampton are adding up points to stay alive. So they may be looking at this as, this is a road game. We aren't going to win. So the only thing we can do is fight for a point. And I feel like Everton, particularly what we saw in the second half, don't have enough of firepower to break the defensive line, because they still have enough in defense. That is Southampton, enough in defense to hold the team back if they're doing nothing offensive. And
I like this dude, Jan Bednarek.
Bednarek and Vestergaard are just going to put a brick wall in front of the net. They're not going to let Calvert-Lewin.
Vestergaard might be out. I read something about that last night. So hopefully he's not, because that's going to make for a more interesting game. But if he's not there, then I can see Everton just strolling like it's their house, like Juan por su casa, and just scoring a couple games.
Well, now we're staying on the theme of games that we might not care about, and I don't even know if I have nothing intelligent to say about this game. I genuinely don't. For all I know, this game could finish 1-1, 0-0. Brighton or Burnley could just have a random game and win 3-0. I mean,
this
would be the last game that I would watch on the schedule, at least thus far. And I believe going forward, this would be the last game I would watch.
Couple things I like. I like Danny Welbeck. I like Lamptey. Bissouma's okay.
Bissouma's good.
They're not great. They're not good. It's going to be a boring game, but I'm going to say Brighton may pull off the win, 1-0 here. I'm not going to watch. It could, to get back to what you were saying, it could be a 12-12 game. I'm not going to care about it. Fuck these teams. Let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, I because we said we're going to give a pick, 1-0 Brighton. Now,
Adam Lallana.
Now we're going to the team that, of course, I support. 19-time champions of England, 6 times champions of Europe. Blah, blah, blah. Playing the reigning champions of the championship in Norwich City, going down to Carrow Road, going down to Norwich. I am not as confident as I should be as a Liverpool fan. Norwich played us very tight when we played there a couple years ago. It was a 1-0 game. Sadio Mane scored late. And we have a lot of Liverpool, and I want to say Liverpool have a lot of craziness going on right now. So one second. Liverpool have a lot of stuff going on right now with what are they going to do at center back? They got to figure out the midfield. They got to figure out a lot of things. I still see them winning the game. I just don't know. If it's going to be as convincing. I could see a 2-1 win. I could see a 2-1 win, but Norwich play it really tight. I mean, maybe Liverpool go up 2-0, Norwich score to make it 2-1, but it's just a super tight game. Your thoughts?
I don't think it's going to be tight. Norwich, the only player I can sort of pick out as decent is Timo Pukki. We talk about him again now. But if you look at Liverpool, man, even if Liverpool comes out with their B team with Shaqiri as a starting, they leave Mo Salah out for any reason. I don't know. It's just too many people to choose from. That can do a lot of damage. I think even if they have all these other things going on, they're still a good team with great talent in the field. Somebody's going to do something. It's 2-0, 3-0 for me.
Well, I mean, when Liverpool played them at Anfield the last time they were up, Liverpool won 4-1. They played them off the pitch. So I could see that when it's a return game, but this is big for Norwich. They won a championship. These guys are winners. I know they lost Buendia, but they still have Todd Cantwell. And I still don't know what Liverpool team we're going to see. I still don't know what the vibe is. I'm confident in Liverpool. I'm confident that they're going to do well. I just don't know about a trip going to the champions of the championship. And it's going to be cagey. Let's put it this way. Norwich beat Man City at home the last time they were up. I could see them playing a very similar game against Liverpool this time. Liverpool, I feel like will win, but I feel like we're going to come away from it with more questions about Liverpool than Norwich. And that doesn't portend to anything else that goes on in the season. For Norwich mainly. For Liverpool, we're going to come away and we're going to look at it and be like, well, you should beat Norwich. You shouldn't be struggling with Norwich. And then,
who's your playmaker at Liverpool? Who would you say that is the guy making all the plays in the middle?
It's not the middle. I mean, we don't need to go into that deep of a dive with Liverpool, but if you watch Liverpool, it's the fullbacks, which we could totally get off kilter here. But if the fullbacks are where we're making plays, and Andrew Robertson's out, so we don't also know what we're going to do at left back. Right back, of course, is Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I mean, he's phenomenal. He sets every defender assist record that there's ever been. But even there, if Norwich is smart, they would push it towards Trent's side and overload him so he can't get passes in. And then I don't know who they're going to start at the other fullback. I don't know if it's going to be Milner or it's going to be Kostas Tsimikas. Tsimikas has looked very good, but James Milner's been around. And if Norwich put us, I say us all the time, Liverpool in the position to have to play through the left side, where you have no Robertson and you have a Sadio Mane who didn't look like Sadio Mane last year, that would be not too amazing for Liverpool. But that is, of course, assuming that Liverpool don't find another way through. It also then depends on what they're doing at center back. Who are they starting at center back? I heard a rumor today that said that they might start Van Dijk and Konate. So if you start Van Dijk and Konate, that's a guy coming back off of a 10-month injury and a guy that's never played for Liverpool. So right there, that's a center back pairing who's never played together. One guy who's been out for 10 months and another guy that's brand new to the team. Now, I mean, Virgil van Dijk, when healthy, is the best center back in the world. And Konate is a guy you spend 35 million pounds or euros or whatever it was to bring in. So the talent's all there. But that's a very questionable, for the talent level, a very questionable backline you're playing with. So I don't know if Norwich have enough of talent to exploit that, but
They don't. I think it's going to be I think the defenders are going to be out back there taking coffee breaks, eating sandwiches. I don't think the defenders are going to be doing much this game. Norwich is going to pull it back, is going to park the bus. They may try to go for a counterattack here and there, but it's nothing the B line of Liverpool defense can't handle. So they're going to be fine. Plus, the offense of Liverpool is going to be so superior that the ball's not going to leave from the middle field up until their half. The whole game's going to be played on their half, basically.
Well, which because of that, and I do want to move on to the final two games. Because of that, I am scared as a Liverpool fan that there's going to be so much ticky-tacky in the middle of the field. And with a somewhat questionable backline, something may get over the top. Liverpool may be in a position where it's 2-0, 75th minute, they're playing the ball around, and then Norwich gets a counterattack, and suddenly they score a goal, and we're bricking it for the last 15 minutes. Because Liverpool just laid off, and then suddenly Todd Cantwell gets a breakaway, or Todd Cantwell gets Pookie on a ball over the top on Milner or on Konate, and Milner and Konate, they don't link up well. Something funky. I see a 2-1 game. Just my feeling on it.
I call that something funky, the EPL special. That's the EPL magic, that some shit like that happens to a really good team, and it just makes the game a whole lot better.
Right. So moving on to the two Sunday games. The first one is Newcastle, West Ham. I think that West Ham is going to have a lot of struggles throughout the season, managing expectations from last year where they fought for the top four, and then they're in the Europa League, and they got a whole lot going on. I don't think that those struggles will begin in game week 1. I'm not a big fan of Newcastle. I'm seeing a lot of people saying that they're safe. I don't think so. I think they're going to be the worst team in the league this year. I know that they signed Joe Willock full-time. They got him from Arsenal, but I'm still not thrilled about what they have. I mean, they relied so heavily on Callum Wilson. I mean, Willock, it's kind of funny because West Ham was where West Ham was because of Jesse Lingard, and Newcastle were so safe because of Joe Willock. So by that logic, Newcastle still have Willock, so they should be fine. And West Ham don't have Lingard, so they should be screwed. But the difference is, I just think West Ham have so much more talent, and I see it as a comfortable game. I mean, even at Newcastle, I believe, it's at St. James's Park. I think West Ham, very comfortable 3-1, maybe even 3-0. I'm not a fan of Newcastle at
all. I think it's one of those boring games for me. Newcastle is interesting whenever Miguel Almiron is on the field. He's really the main one to watch for me because he's just aggressive. He's doing plays, losing the ball, just creating activity inside of the field, whether it's against his team or it's for his team. West Ham, I don't really watch much. I don't really trust for them to make good plays. I don't see cohesion inside of the field. I don't like watching them. It's one of the most boring games of the weekend. Top two most boring games.
Really? Huh. You think that? Wow. Well, I mean, that's an interesting shout that it's one of the more boring games. I mean, maybe I say it's confusing that you see it as one of the more boring games. And then I say, oh, it's going to be 3-0. So, I mean, I guess that is kind of a boring game.
Yeah, I think I like the games where the middle of the table team is doing a good job against the top of the table team. I like when there's two middle of the table teams that have everything to gain and they're just beating the shit out of each other. When it's a good team beating on a lower team, then that's kind of boring. Or when it's two teams just playing defensively, which I think is what's going to be the next upcoming game that we're going to talk about. I think that's going to be a boring game too, because you have a lot of stars. We'll get to that in a second. Sorry.
Ooh. Burying the lead. On paper, the biggest game of the weekend. Tottenham, Man City. It is at Hotspur Stadium. I mean, City. Look, I realize that this may be sour grapes. I realize that I could come off as biased here. City tried to buy the league. Broke the British transfer record to get Grealish on a team that won the league last year and has basically been, bar 1920, a 90, 95, 100-point team. And then they add Jack Grealish. So for me, if City don't win 30 or more games this season and go deep in the Champions League, they're a tremendous disappointment. So that procession should begin on Sunday. However, I don't think it will.
It will not. These teams are too professional, too aware to give it all you got on the first game of what a middle of the table team would do. These guys are going to take it easy. They're going to warm their legs up, get ready for the season. They don't want to go and get in a pissing contest with somebody that's this good. I don't think it's going to happen. I think both teams are going to park it. If they see an opportunity, they may take it, especially if it's a young upcoming star on either team that wants to show out a little bit. Phil Foden might do something, but I think it's going to be a park the bus type of game on both sides.
Really?
I think so.
So what are you seeing?
I'm seeing 0-0. I'm seeing it's probably going to be the only 0-0 of the weekend, or one of the few 0-0s of the whole weekend.
I'm very intrigued by that answer. I could moderately see a 0-0 if it gets to like the 75th minute and it's like, look, nothing's happening. Let's just shake our hands and call it a draw. I don't think that that's what's going to happen. What I think is going to happen is one of two things. Either City's going to come out right away, like score within the first 5 minutes, and then Tottenham is going to play like their hair's on fire, and City's going to absolutely run them off the pitch. Or, and this is what I actually think is going to happen, I think Tottenham is going to play like City underestimated them, get a goal before half, go into the half with a lead. City is going to try to do something in the second half to change it up, and it's going to fail. And I think by that point, Tottenham will then take a 2-0 lead because City has such a collection of talent that at times I think they won't know what to do with it. I see Tottenham winning this game 2-1. I see it as a game where Pep is going to come out and he's going to I don't want to say arrogantly play, but I don't also not want to say arrogantly play. He's going to come out and he's going to have the kind of lineup where he's going to say, he's going to come out like he's playing a mid-table team. When in reality, Tottenham's played very well against Man City, like ridiculously. If you look through what they've done in the last 3 years, they've beaten them. They knocked them out of the Champions League in 18-19. They beat them at home in the league, I think, the last couple of years. They don't play particularly well at City, but at the Tottenham Stadium, and then before that, White Hart Lane, and then at Wembley, they beat them. They played ridiculously well against them. And I think Pep will just say, we got this. We got De Bruyne. We got Foden. We can pull Grealish off the bench. We have all these guys. We're fine. And Tottenham, especially with Nuno Espirito Santo, who is a defensive-minded coach, they're going to play their game. They're going to play within themselves. They're going to play a very compact game. I think they improve their defense. And I just think they're going to bewilder City early, because City's going to come and punch them in the face. They're going to bewilder City early, and then they're going to hit them on a counter. They're going to hit them at a time where they don't expect it. Then, like I said, Pep is going to try to do something at halftime, maybe bring on Grealish earlier than he wanted to, because I don't think Jack Grealish is going to start. And it's going to just knock things off. And I see a late consolation goal. I see City trying to go for it, but I got Tottenham winning.
Solid.
So that is our quick little recap of, or preview of the weekend. Leo, any more thoughts as we get going?
I hope what you said about the Tottenham Man City game is correct, is right. I want to see that happen. But like I said, reiterate, these teams are kind of serious about it. They don't want to lose any goal points. But if you're correct, then it could really turn into the best game of the weekend. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't think it will, but hopefully it will.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. That's what's fun about previews. They could be absolutely wrong and we could be made to look like idiots, but it should be a fun start to the weekend. I'm most excited about the City Spurs game. I mean, I think that's going to be a very competitive game. I like Leicester Wolves as well. I'll probably take a look at that. And then, of course, I'll be watching the Liverpool game just because I'd watch them if they were playing Scunthorpe. But, I mean, we'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out. But it was good chatting with you, and should be a fun weekend. All righty? Later, Leo.
Thanks, boys.
Later.